Have you ever wondered how rock art is dated? In this video, I will describe a few methods used to date rock art. These fall into two broad categories, namely scientific methods and relative methods. Radiocarbon dating, also known as carbon-14 dating, is probably the most well-known scientific method. Developed in the late 1940s, it is based on the use of carbon-14 or radiocarbon, a radioactive isotope of carbon. This is found in all living organisms and decays at a steady rate to become carbon-12. By measuring the ratio of these atoms in a sample, the age of an item can be determined. Any organic material, such as charcoal, which is often used as a pigment, can be dated with this technique. However, any inorganic material that does not have carbon cannot be dated. Additionally, samples older than 50,000 years cannot be accurately dated, as these samples do not contain enough carbon-14 for accurate measurements. Cation ratio dating is based on the ratio of mobile cations such as potassium and calcium to titanium found in the varnish layer that forms on rock surfaces. This can include stone artifacts, painted imagery on wall surfaces, and carved imagery or petroglyphs on ground surfaces. Cation ratio dating can determine how long certain rock surfaces have been left exposed. This method is more common in arid areas where carbon-14 data is insufficient. Accelerator mass spectrometry is a form of radiocarbon dating which gathers data from carbon particles trapped beneath the varnish layer of a rock surface. This method is often used with cation ratio dating to provide a greater degree of accuracy in the date range extrapolated for a given artwork. Varnish microlaminating is a method that looks at variations or microlaminations found in cross-sections of varnish layers. These microlaminations become visible when the varnish is shaved thin enough using a light microscope. These variations indicate dry or wet periods which can be correlated to data from regional historical climate studies. This is because different minerals and elements form at different times on the rock surface depending on the climate. This method can provide results that are usually within a general time frame of 1 to 200 years, and is more commonly used in arid areas. The uranium-thorium dating method is based on the analysis of uranium and thorium isotope activity ratios. It uses the ratio of the measure of decay of uranium-234 into thorium-230 to provide an age of a given material. This ratio is used to evaluate the decay of uranium and the subsequent production of thorium over time. When uranium decays, it goes through a series of decay steps until it eventually reaches a stable isotope. This dating process is completed by using mass spectrometry to measure the products of decay in a given sample. It does not depend on organic material and can also date materials further back in time, up to about 500,000 years before the present date. Solution-based uranium series methods date calcium carbonate deposits that form on rock art. Random layers of calcium carbonate are submitted to a micro-excavation. These are then chemically prepared for analysis using a method known as multi-collector inductively coupled plasma mass spectrometry. This provides the date range of the calcium carbonate deposit and thus the subsequent age of the artwork. Laser ablation uranium series imaging makes use of a laser to focus on polished cross-sections. No chemical preparations are needed as with the previous method. This method provides enhanced spatial accuracy, resulting in older minimal ages for previous dated art. The small spot size of the laser ablation system has several advantages over the solution-based methods. These include being faster and more cost-effective, being less destructive as smaller samples are used, and having improved accuracy due to the high spatial resolution it achieves. This method was used to date what was at one stage thought to be the oldest narrative cave painting in the world. This is an image of a warty pig, a species of pig found in Indonesia. It was initially dated at 43,900 years old, but by using the more sensitive dating technique, they found it to be about 4,000 years older than they had previously estimated, placing its date at about 48,000 years old. In 2004, a similar cave painting of human-like figures interacting with a warty pig, also from a cave in Indonesia, was dated to be 51,200 years old, making it the oldest known narrative example of rock art found so far. The image I am painting is based on a combination of these two images, where I have used the stylistic traits from the younger image and the directional alignment of the older painting to create my own interpretation of the warty pig. The last scientific method I am going to discuss is luminescence dating. With luminescence dating, crystalline minerals such as silica absorb radiation from heat or sunlight, and this absorbed radiation or luminescence, is then measured to provide the approximate date of when the sample was last exposed to heat or light. It is useful for portable art found at archaeological sites, such as the 77,000-year-old carved piece of red ochre found at Blombos Cave in South Africa. In addition to scientific methods of dating rock art, relative dating methods are also used. These methods make use of the horizontal layers that occur in stratified sedimentary rock, with the lowest levels being regarded as the older cultural layer. Dating an artifact is thus dependent on its place relative to other items around it. Seriation assumes that artifacts exhibit trends or go through a similar phase of usage based on popularity at a given time. Similar symbols or pictures are grouped together in what is known as artifact sequencing. This is based on frequency, context, evolution, and similarity or stylistic changes that the symbols showcase. This method is an organized look at different types of rock art over time, addressing factors such as image and panel size, depth, varnish cover, density of rock, and so on. It is helpful to assess changes in styles over time, especially with a large data sample. Repatination is the recoloration or regrowth of desert varnish after a petroglyph is made, or the layer of dirt that accumulates over the petroglyph over time. It occurs at different rates and degrees, and can be used to determine the relative age of an image. A higher level of repatination indicates an older date range than with slight repatination. Images are sometimes drawn over other images, providing insight into the sequence of production. This can indicate changes in social preferences or religion, for example. Motifs depicted can be stylistically compared to others available data to estimate the date range for these artworks. This is similar to contemporary graffiti reflecting changes in pop cultural trends. Another method used is historical collaboration. In cases where imagery depicts an event, information on this can aid in the dating of the artwork. For example, the introduction of horses into an area is seen in more recent examples of rock art. In conclusion, varied methods are available to date rock art, and advances in technology are aiding this process. Multiple methods are often used in combination to give the best possible date range for the artwork. No one method is completely accurate, and artworks can be redated as new techniques become available, as seen with the Indonesian example I used. I hope you enjoyed this video. Till next time then, thank you for watching and take care.